Hello everyone, welcome to our channel Geo for Geography and myself Akshay Guru. So I hope you all are doing good, all are doing well, and you must have a better clarity over now on the mapping section, right? रशिया particularly क्योंकि अब जो next वाला जो session लेंगे हम उसके next वाला topic पे होगा. Now I welcome you all for the series of this prisoners of geography. Prisoners of Geography. This is what that book, right? That the 10 maps will tell you everything about the world mapping and world geography, world geopolitics as well, written by the Team Marshall. See, I know for the purpose of UPSC examination, UGC या और भी जो examination है ना वहाँ पर world mapping is very important aspect. And इस book में when I was just going through, I find it really interesting. I find it really helpful, you know, just to answer many questions in the examination. तो इसीलिए फिर मैंने सोचा कि why I don't like we should like why then I can't have you know videos again over on this thing जिससे वर्ल्ड मैपिंग भी पूरा कवर होगा. Importantly you will find geopolitical affairs भी उससे कनेक्ट होंगे and equally this book I find is like a future predicting book as well क्योंकि geography is at the root of our every decision making, इसीलिए future भी predict कर सकती है just like with this book. ठीक है. So already as you know इंट्रोडक्शन का एक सेपरेट वीडियो बनाया हमने, रशिया का एक बनाया है, एंड नाउ इट्स टर्न फॉर द सेकंड वन दैट इज चाइना. सी वी आर ट्राइंग टू डील विद एवरी अदर एस्पेक्ट विद दिस पर्टिकुलर वर्ल्ड मैपिंग. ठीक है, अगर जो भी कंट्रीज होंगे या जो भी 10 मैप्स है यू विल फाइंड बाय द एंड ऑफ दिस पर्टिकुलर सीरीज, ओके, दिस वीडियो सीरीज प्रिजनर्स ऑफ ज्योग्राफी वर्ल्ड मैपिंग, यू गाइज विल बी हैविंग अ बेटर अंडरस्टैंडिंग जियोपॉलिटिकल क्लैरिटी एज वेल अबाउट द you know issues in our day to day happening. So chalo without wasting further time, what we shall start with the second unit, that is China. Now so second unit it start with this quote given by the Lucian Pai, right? Lucian Pai, that he is a political scientist, was a political scientist. China is a civilization pretending to be a nation. Yes, China is more appropriately an age-old civilization that has very unique features and characteristics of its own. And it is pretending to be a nation in that sense. In that sense, see, एज क्योंकि उस सिविलाइजेशन का एक अपना टेरिटोरियल स्ट्रेच था, टेरिटोरियल एक्सपैंड था, एंड जस्ट बिकॉज सी चाइनीज नाउ रूरल, राइट? अब वन चाइना पॉलिसी है, तो दिस वन चाइना पॉलिसी इज सिंपली टू हैव एवरी to have every Chinese origin people ruled under the one single rule. ये वन चाइना पॉलिसी वाला केस है. अब इसी वजह से वर्ल्ड में कुछ प्रॉब्लम्स क्रिएट हो रहे हैं, राइट? सो what we are now going to discuss first the geography of the China and then the geopolitical aspect. Now see China in compass, okay, it means simply east to west, not to south. China का extent कैसा है? By this means we are trying to understand this Chinese geography, right? We are going to cover it by means of a clockwise rotation. So in the north we see the 2900 mile long border with the Mongolia. See, ये जो border है यहाँ से चाइना की, this is what a border with the Mongolia. Mongolia is like a Gobi desert itself. Straddling this border with the Gobi desert, right? This is Gobi desert more or less along this line. पूरा तो नहीं है, but yes, nomadic warriors from the ancient times might have been able to attack the south across it, right? This is how the China find herself much vulnerable from this northern boundary. But a modern army would be spotted amassing there weeks before it was ready to advance, and it would have incredibly long supply lines running across inhospitable terrain before it got into the inner Mongolia. See, ये जो part है जिसको Chinese language में नई मंगोलिया बोलेंगे, मंगोल, और inner Mongolia, that is what one of the province of the China. And towards the heartland, there are few roads fit to move heavy armor and few habitable areas along this border. The Gobi Desert is a massive early warning system come defensive line for the चाइना, क्योंकि जिससे भी फॉरेन अटैकर्स को चाइना में इन्वेड करना है, ही नीड्स टू हैव ए स्ट्रॉन्ग व्हाट दी सप्लाई लाइन, लॉन्ग सप्लाई लाइन. लॉन्ग सप्लाई लाइन इट मीन्स हर किसी मतलब ह्यूमन रिसोर्स का, फूड रिसोर्स का, फ्यूल रिसोर्सेज का एक लॉन्ग सप्लाई लाइन चलनी चाहिए जो कम्स मतलब फ्यू मंथ्स इट शुड लास्ट लॉन्ग फॉर, राइट. सो फॉर ऑन दिस काउंट यू विल फाइंड दिस चाइना इज हैविंग this northern boundary and the inner Mongolia province. To the east of this China, you will find that borders with the Russia. That the Russia's part जो हमने रशिया में देखा था, this part is far east of Russia, right? This part far east of Russia. Thus, this China it shares the border with the far east of the. It runs all the way to the Pacific Ocean or at least the Sea of Japan. See over here as well, you will find देखो Sea of Japan. Yes, ये है Sea of Okhotsk. This is Sea of Japan. Further this one, ये है Yellow Sea and Bohai, that is what again the Gulf there. Then above this the mountainous Russian Far East, a huge inhospitable territory with a tiny population. As you know, Siberia का ये जो eastern part है, that is anyway inhospitable, abundant with the resources, but Russia don't have that enough potential actually. But though again geography, because you know, has put down some limitations over there, unable to explore all its potential. और China का ये जो part है further east was connected with the, it is connected with the Far East. Below it is Manchuria, which is the Russian would have to push through if they wanted to reach the Chinese heartland. Below there you will find, देखो यहाँ पर है Manchurian region, Manchuria, right? जहाँ पे Manchurians खाते हैं उसका origin ही इस region में, ठीक है? Then the population of Manchuria is 100 million, 10 crore almost, and growing. In contrast to the Russian Far East has only 7 million people, 7 million, 70 lakh people, and no indications of population growth. Large scale migration to the south to the north can be expected. अगर रशिया वाला वीडियो आपने देखा हो तो मैंने बताया था कि Russia is having a future threat, that is China. Because Chinese population is now shifting over itself into the Siberian region, और कुछ टाइम बाद आप देखोगे China will claim even the Russian Siberian part as well. Then now below the Russian Far East, along the coast, China's Yellow East and South China Sea. These are all Chinese sea, in fact, that usually China consider as. देखो Yellow Sea, this is Sea of Japan, ठीक है? This is Sea of Japan. This is Yellow Sea. Order you need to remember. Okhotsk Sea है यहाँ पे, right? Okhotsk, Sea of Japan, Yellow Sea, East China Sea, and South China Sea. Yeah, East China Sea and South China Sea. You will find this is what rather the sequence over on the eastern border of the China, which lead to the Pacific and Indian Ocean, have many good harbors. इसीलिए चाइना का ईस्टर्न सेक्शन जो है वो बहुत ज़्यादा एक्सपोर्ट पोटेंशियल है. तो good harbors and have always been used for trade since the ancient civilization. But across the ways there lies several island-sized problems. One that is shaped like Japan, and as you know it well, Japan and China, what kind of relationship they do share? Because Japan is a separate civilization, Chinese is a separate civilization, and now even a contemporary world, उसमें current continuous conflict है, and you must have aware about those things as well. Now देखो यहाँ से clockwise manner में हम जब जाएंगे, next part that comes in clockwise manner, Mongolia, East China, South China, and now it's turn for the Vietnam. So Vietnam, since the ages, Vietnam is like an irritant for China. Though China ruled the Vietnam region like almost for 7 to 8 centuries. Like you will find it ruled from 111 BC to 938 C, however, but the thing is, from there onward, Vietnam was ruled by local rulers, right? Local rulers. अब local rulers से जब ये rule हो रहा है, now it has its own development of cultures and identity as well. And China and Vietnam, since then, you know, they have shared a kind of enmity. So since ages, Vietnam is an irritation for China. एंड नाउ यू विल फाइंड इनके ये टसल ये तो अभी भी चल रही है, एंड दैट लीड टू ए ब्रीफ क्रॉस बॉर्डर वॉर ऑफ 1979 as well. So that is again a, you know, a problem with the China relation between China and Vietnam. One thing again, see, China is that country which has the longest number of bordering countries along with, right, 13 countries है जो इसको border कर रहे हैं, and that is a huge number because China is again one of the third or fourth largest country in the world. Next to Vietnam is Laos. देखो लाओस, अब लाओस इज व्हाट, जो लाओस वैसे स्मॉल कंट्री कंपैरेटिवली बॉर्डरलेस है, कोस्टल लेस है दिस कंट्री. इट इज व्हाट हैविंग ए हिली जंगल टेरेन, डिफिकल्ट फॉर ट्रेडर्स टू क्रॉस इट and even more complicated for the military as well, right? तो ये जो लाओस वाला जो region है यहाँ पर, it is difficult because some geography has put down some limitations over on it. इसीलिए इस two regions का integration seems much difficult. However, technology से खैर हो सकता है. And then next is Myanmar or Burma, and as you know, Burma shares a good relationship with the China, and particularly like the junta rebellion that leads to, तो Chinese support से ये सारी कुछ चीजें चल रही है, right? That is what the world argues, that geopolitical arguments are there. So this way. Next it comes India, तो कोई direct border share नहीं कर रहा है वैसे चाइना के साथ. Next that it comes Tibet, है ना, तिब्बत और Tibet, a buffer state. Tibet is a buffer state. As you know it guys well, that Tibet is anyway a separate civilization. Yeah, Tibet has her own civilization. China was a separate civilization and India was like a separate civilization in itself. However, अब क्योंकि चाइना और इंडिया में, you know, basically these two are the Asian superpower according to Singapore, former Singapore Prime Minister. China and India are like the two wings of Asian plane, and we want them to be stronger. तो अब जैसे ये दो स्ट्रॉन्ग प्लेन है, चाइना को काउंटर कोई कर सकता है अगर एशिया के डोमेन में, दैट इज इक्वली इंडिया. सो चाइना वाज प्रीटी मच क्लियर दैट इट वांट ए कंट्रोल ओवर ऑन दिस तिबेट. अगर वो नहीं करेगा, सी व्हाट द जियोपॉलिटिक्स ऑफ फियर, if China did not control Tibet, it would always be possible that India might attempt to do so, है ना. जब माओ जेडोंग ने जब कंट्रोल लिया था ऑफ द पॉलिटिकल कंट्रोल ऑफ द चाइना इन 1949 itself, that revolution, so he had, you know, one wish, 4 territories like he was looking for: Tibet, Xinjiang, then Henan, right, and Taiwan. These 4 locations he was actually looking for. Those should be part of the one China nation itself, right? तो आगे देखेंगे हम, वैसे दिया है. So this would give India the commanding heights of the Tibetan Plateau and a base from which to push into the Chinese heartland, as well as control of the Tibetan sources of 3 China's great river. See, Tibet is not only important from that perspective कि ये buffer state है. Buffer मतलब क्या है कि 2 major power के बीच में neutralizing state है. जैसे आज के डेट में नेपाल को बोल सकते हैं, आज के डेट में भूटान को बोल सकते हैं, kind of a buffer, though not having that great potential, but still. अब Tibet is what, on the other count, is equally, you know, a water provided to the China. यहाँ से चाइना से 3 major river flow होती है जिनका origin तिबेट में: येलो रिवर, यांगसे रिवर, and you will find Mekong river. All these 3 are what having their origin over in the Tibet, और जिस वजह से Tibet is known as China's वाटर टावर, है ना. वाटर टावर का काम क्या होता है? वाटर को सप्लाई करना. सो तिबेट, दैट इन अ वे इज चाइनाज वाटर टावर. And a country with approximately the same volume of water uses as the United States, but with a population of 5 times as large as, so that it won't allow that to do so. So in 1954, China finally took a control of Tibet and make it an autonomous state. Though, however, democracy है नहीं तो फिर autonomy और वो चीज़ें तो उतनी मैटर नहीं करेगी. But अब देखो, तिबेट चाइना के अंडर कंट्रोल में हो रहा है, एज यू नो, कि दलाई लामा और वो सारा जो कि इश्यूज है, ठीक है, वो अभी यहाँ डिस्कस नहीं करेंगे. सो however, the problem of Tibet is much different. What? That, see, China is like this aggressive community, you know, Chinese. अब एक और कल्चरल चाइना भी डिस्कस करेंगे हम. देयर यू विल फाइंड कि क्या हुआ है कि जैसे जिस भी पार्ट में चाइना ने ऑक्यूपेशन किया या कंट्रोल किया, चाइना का एक सिंपल सी पॉलिसी थी. सी, यू कैन रूल एनी रीजन when you are having control or where you are having say a common connect with the community. अब common connect with the community क्या हो सकता है, जैसे जिनजियांग प्रोविंस में ये नहीं हो सकता क्योंकि मेजॉरिटी पॉपुलेशन इस्लामिक है. तो चाइना ने फिर क्या किया वहां पे हान पॉपुलेशन, बिकॉज चाइना इज कंसिडर्ड लाइक ए मेजॉरिटी हान पॉपुलेशन 90% ऑफ इट, जो अभी नेक्स्ट स्लाइड में होगा. तो चाइना ने उनकी जो बेस पॉपुलेशन को रिलोकेट किया, जैसे ईस्ट साइबेरिया में कर रहा है, फार ईस्ट में ऑफ रशिया, जैसे वो कर रहा है इन शिनजियांग, सेम इज विद तिबेट, same is with the Taiwan and Hainan. See, the majority of the population of the Manchuria, Inner Mongolia and Xinjiang were ethnically Manchurian, Mongolian and Uyghur. Now all three are majorly Han Chinese or approaching the majority. So it will be with the Tibet as well. That क्योंकि इन्होंने क्या किया, by means of systematic proliferation of population, इन्होंने उस पार्ट में majority Han people को दे दी, right? बन गई in fact in terms of their number. Same would be the fate of Tibet. Same would be the fate of Xinjiang proving, and that way, and by that sense Chinese would control. देखो ये है तिबेट वाला पार्ट, अक्साई चीन भी हमारा इसी में आएगा. दिस इज व्हाट दिस जिनजियांग यूगर डोमिनेटेड रीजन, मंगोलिया ये इनर मंगोलिया ये वाला पार्ट है, मंचूरियन ये वाला पार्ट है. ठीक है, तो देयर यू विल फाइंड that China made by this strategy. वॉर से ही आप सारी चीजें कंट्रोल नहीं कर सकते, you should have some strategic connect as well. तो वो डेवलप किया. Finally the clock hand moves around the past borders, right? उसके बाद फिर आएगा, देखो नेक्स्ट फिर ये इस बॉर्डर पे आएगा जहां पे बॉर्डर है पाकिस्तान, ताजिकिस्तान, किर्गिस्तान. Past border with the Pakistan, Tajikistan and Kyrgyzstan, all mountainous before reaching the border with the Kazakhstan, which leads back around north to the Mongolia. This is the ancient Silk Route, the land trade bridge from the Middle Kingdom to the world. Theoretically, it's a weak spot of China's defense. Yeah, it's a weak spot. It's like a Achilles hill where you can, penetrate deep into. So China ने क्यों Xinjiang or why Mao Zedong was in favor or like having a will कि तिबेट को कंट्रोल करना है, क्योंकि ये चाइना और इंडिया के बीच का बफर स्टेट है. दिस Xinjiang is a buffer state of Central Asia and China itself. ठीक है, तो इसको कंट्रोल करना equally is much needed. That is now Islam dominated region है. Then you will find southeast of the Kazakh border is a restive semi-autonomous Chinese province of Xinjiang and is a native Muslim population of the Uyghur people who speak a language related to the Turkish language. Yeah, Turkish language. But now, अब real China कहाँ है? ठीक है, where you will find real China as in the heartland is real China. What is heartland then? The heartland is real China. Where you will find heartland? The heartland as the North Chinese Plain. North Chinese Plain is known as and is a large fertile plain with two main rivers and a climate that allows rice and soya beans. That is again during twice a season. क्यों China इतनी population sustain कर सकता है? You know the reason? One of the reason is North Chinese Plain, क्योंकि वहां पे राइस और सोयाबीन आप बाय सीजन ले सकते हो, है ना. दैट ट्वाइस अ सीजन डबल क्रॉपिंग पैटर्न which encourage a rapid population growth. By 15 BCE, in this heartland, out of hundreds of mini city states, many warring with each other, emerged the earliest version of Chinese state, the Shang dynasty. Yeah, the Shang dynasty, this is where what became known as the Han people emerged, protecting the heartland and creating a buffer zone around. Then, अब देखो ये heartland जो है ये कौन सा part है? This is what this heartland or main Chinese plain region. Yeah, यहाँ पर था main China land. What happened with the successive expansionist policy of the Chinese ruler? You will find that China has later captured all this territory. So Chinese occupied Yunnan, Chinese occupied Tibet, Chinese occupied Turkestan, Chinese occupied Mongolia, and this Chinese occupied other territories as well. Island disputes over there, right? So you will find the heartland is the political, cultural, demographic and crucially the agriculture center of the gravity. About 1 billion people live in this part of China. See the intensity and the concentration of population there, despite its being just half the size of the यूनाइटेड स्टेट्स विच हैज़ अ पॉपुलेशन ऑफ 322 मिलियन। तो रिसोर्सेज पे बर्डन भी देखो कितना होगा। बिकॉज ऑफ द टेरेन ऑफ द हर्टलैंड itself to settlements and an agrarian lifestyle, the clear early dynasties felt threatened by the non-Han region that surrounded them, especially Mongolia with its nomadic bands of violent warrior. So to the north of this proto-China there lies the Gobi Desert, जो already हमने देखा है. To the west, land gradually it becomes the Tibetan Plateau, reaching the Himalayas. To the southeast, there lies a sea. ठीक है? Now, China culturally, see geography of China. तो geography में सारी कुछ चीजें आएगी, locations भी आएगा, culture भी आएगा, language भी आएगी और बाकी geopolitical aspect as well. The Han, as I already told you, now make up more than 90% of the China's population, and they dominate Chinese politics and business. Yeah, 90% आज भी जो ruling class है चाइना में वो Han people है, right? Others are anyway they are secondary citizens. They are differentiated by Mandarin, Cantonese and many other regional languages, but united by ethnicity and at a political level by the geopolitical impulsion to protect the heartland, that is again the communist government itself. Mandarin, which originated in the modern northern part of the region, is by far the dominant language and is the medium of government, national state television and education. Mandarin is similar to Cantonese and many other languages when written, but they are different when spoken. So ideally China का जो root है, it lies over on this plainland region, right? Plainland region है, बाकी फिर China ने occupy किया है from different empires and regions. Now China, a disputed territory, because China, though it shared the border with its the highest number of countries equally, China is having number of disputes with the countries. See, अब देखो यहाँ पे अब disputes जैसे island dispute तो बहुत prominent है क्योंकि islands are having much strategic importance, and now China, like looking forward to be the two oceanic power, you will find it is involved in number of disputes. Then see, first between China and the Pacific is the archipelago that Beijing calls the first island chain. Yeah, there is also the 9-dash line, more recently turned into 10 dashes in 2013 to include Taiwan. 10-dash line, which China says marks its territory. This dispute over ownership of more than 200 tiny island and the reef is poisoning China's relationship with the neighbor. अब देखो location कहाँ पर. This is Henan province, जो माओ ने कहा था part होना चाहिए. Then Taiwan is over there. Taiwan is already China declared it at 24th प्रोविंस ऑफ द चाइना. देन यू विल फाइंड ये पार्ट है फिलीपींस का. देखो ये है साउथ चाइना सी, यहाँ पर है पैरासेल आइलैंड, यहाँ पर है स्पार्टली आइलैंड, देयर यू विल फाइंड स्कारबरो शोल्स. या सो ऑल दीज आर अंडर डिस्प्यूट्स बिटवीन वियतनाम, फिलीपींस, चाइना. Yeah, that is known as South China Sea disputes as well, and China is almost claiming every other location over in the territory. Yeah, so that way. अब apart from this, Japan के साथ भी China के dispute है. China is actually claiming Senkaku Island. See, ये है Japan वाला region, and Senkaku Taiwan के north west east में you'll find there, say it has a dispute. China known is at Diao, northeast of Taiwan. This is the most continents of all territorial claim, right? Contentious, sorry. Then below Okinawa is Taiwan. Taiwan is itself a current affair में वैसे भी चल रहा है, major island in the South China Sea, which sits off the Chinese coast and separate East China Sea from the South China Sea. East इसके north में है, south इसके south में further. China claims Taiwan as its 23rd province. So yeah, it is 23rd. My mistake, 24 बताया था मैंने. So 23rd province, but it is currently an American ally with a navy and air force armed to the teeth by the Washington. It came under Chinese control in the 17th century, however, but has only, for a brief period and ruled by the 5 years in the last century from this duration of time. So Taiwan on its own, has her own existence, identity, right? So Taiwan is not ready to accept the sovereignty, leave its sovereignty, and China is rather, by means of its monetary force and pressure, is rather forcing other countries to de-recognize Taiwan then. Okay? Now, China claims almost entire South China Sea and the energy supply is believed to beneath it as its own. अब बाकी ये सारे कंट्रीज से देखो चाइना के फिर क्राइसिस है, एक बार आप गो थ्रू कर सकते हो, बिकॉज ऑलरेडी ये स्टॉप करके ये वीडियोस आप देख सकते हो. Then the history of the Chinese superpower. See how China in 200 BC you will find China has expanded towards but not reached Tibet in the southwest, right? Not to the wall of grassland of Central Asia. So Central Asia तक ये initial Chinese empire था. Great Wall of China यहीं पे built up है. And the south all the way down to the South China Sea. The Great Wall of China known as Long Wall in China. Great Wall of China को चाइना में Long Wall बोलते हैं. Had been built by the Qin dynasty, right? Qin dynasty, and on the map, China was beginning to take over on what we now recognize as its modern form. It would be more than 2000 years before the today's borders were fixed. However, right? That way, between 605 to 609 C, there was one landmark event happened. That was one of the world's largest canal developed over on two rivers, connecting two rivers. एक होगी येलो रिवर एंड द अदर वाज लाइक ए यांगत्से रिवर. या सो दिस टू आर द मेजर रिवर्स ओवर इन द चाइना, और दोनों को भी कनेक्टिंग. या दिस इज व्हाट, ये है येलो रिवर और ये है यांगत्से रिवर. दोनों भी रिवर को कनेक्टिंग कैनाल वाज कंस्ट्रक्टेड वे बैक इन 605 टू 609. ज्योग्राफी के पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से, एग्जाम पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से मैं आपको ये एक्सप्लेन कर रहा हूँ चीज़ है. ठीक है. देन यू विल फाइंड इन द 18th century China reached into parts of Burma and Indonesia to the south, and Xinjiang in the northwest. Xinjiang province in the northwest, becoming the country's biggest province. An area of rugged mountain and the vast desert basin, Xinjiang, 642,000 miles, twice the size of Texas. Or to put it another way, you could fit the UK, France, Germany, Australia, Switzerland, and Netherlands and Belgium into it, and it still have a scope for Lithuania and Luxembourg. Sorry, Liechtenstein and Luxembourg. ठीक है, these two. Later, during First and Second World War, Japanese expansion was there, invaded into. However, later during the Second World War, you will find Japanese unconditional surrender to the American force led to the removal of Japanese forces from the China itself, but still they do share rivalry, you know, like since that particular time. और उससे पहले भी थी वैसे civilization rivalry. So उसके बाद आया देखो 1945 and 49 तक का जो revolution, Mao Zedong led communist revolution, that China was ruled by the nationalist Chiang Kai-shek, and this one communist leader, the Mao Zedong, he was ready to rule the country or take control of power by all means. That doesn't matter whether it is by means of violence, that doesn't matter whether it is by taking a debt tolls off, right? तो माओसिस्ट आज भी अगर देखोगे आप तो बैंड है, मतलब इंडिया में तो पर्टिकुलरली बैंड है, because it believes in, you know, bloody revolution as well. So that way you'll find in 1949 China was then taken over, the rule of China was taken over by the Mao Zedong, by the blood or forceful revolution, and the communists emerged victorious, long march to victory, जो march किया था उसने, that way, and the nationalists withdrew to the Taiwan. That same year, Radio Beijing announced the People Liberation Army must liberate all Chinese territory. Which one? Including Tibet, Xinjiang, Henan, and Taiwan. 4 provinces I already mentioned there, और हमने मैप पे लोकेशन भी देख लिया इनकी. Then is it only a land power? However, अब ये तो इसका ये केस था. Now whether China is only a land power, geography वाला केस, answer is initially तो yes. Until now China has never been a naval power, never been, right? जैसे US आज देखोगे तो naval power है. अगर geography optional में भी देखोगे, geography के इसमें भी देखोगे आप guys, there you will find हार्टलैंड एंड ड्रीमलैंड थ्योरी है, और ये इनका कन्फ्लिक्ट ही इसी पे है कि लैंड पावर सुपेरियर है या नेवल पावर सुपेरियर है, राइट? सो देयर कन्फ्लिक्ट एक्चुअली arises just due to this supremacy of either of the land power or naval power. China, and since ages, it was not a naval power, right? It was mainly a land power with its large land mass, multiple borders, and short sea routes to trading partners. It had no need to be, and it was rarely ideologically expansive. Initially, China was not that expansive, though वो तो होना ही था, but like it was since those ages. So, and during that time, with the limitations of technology, land power was rather much more superior. Its merchants have long sailed the oceans to trade goods, but its navy did not seek territory beyond its region, and the difficulty of patrolling the great sea lanes of the Pacific, Atlantic, and Indian Oceans was not worth the effort. It was always a land power with a lot of land and lot of people, now nearly 1.4 billion. Having said that, right, having said that, now you have to also undertaken the contemporary realities where Chinese has spent thousands of turbulent years consolidating its landmass. China is now building two-way naval force or army. One, that is a green water navy patrols its maritime border, and a blue water navy patrols the ocean itself, and that is, you know, like a very strategic development in the Chinese occupation or naval development. As it will take another 30 years for China to build naval capacity to seriously challenge the most powerful seaborne force on the earth's surface, that is the US. But in the medium to short term, as it builds and trains and learns, the Chinese Navy will bump up against its rivals in the seas, and how those bumps are managed, especially in the Sino-American ones, will define great power politics in this century. So China is aspired to be a naval power, because in the contemporary world, naval power is rather, you know, a critical power. Now, however, now China does on this line wants to be two ocean superpower, right? Two ocean super. देखो अब ये two ocean superpower की concept क्या है? It is simply connected with the US, where you will find US is two ocean power. उसमें Atlantic भी है और Pacific भी है, दो है. Indian Ocean पे उतना नहीं है. So US is what having somehow her bases lying over in the Indian Ocean as well, but फिर भी dominant control है over on these two, Atlantic and the Pacific. China wants, based on the strategy that it seems like, कि जैसे यहाँ पे ग्वादवार पोर्ट है ईरान वाला, चाबार पोर्ट को ले रहा है, या दकम ओमान, अजम्पशन आइलैंड है, जिबूती में पोर्ट है, देन चितवे पोर्ट, सॉरी हाँ चितवे रीजन है ओवर इन दी बांग्लादेश, दैट्स वियतनाम, देन जापान, राइट. तो ये सारे जो केसेस है, इट सीम्स दैट चाइना इज रादर लुकिंग फॉर टू ओशन सुपर पावर, पैसिफिक एंड इंडियन. अटलांटिक में खैर उतना कंट्रोल नहीं होगा, बट यस पैसिफिक एंड इंडियन, दिस टू ओशन चाइना इज रादर लुकिंग फॉर. या सो it seems then, based on this discussion, देखो future भी predict कर रही है this particular book, right? That's why we are having this discussion. It is a next superpower to be only if it avoids. So China would be a superpower only if it avoids conflict with the Japan or the United States, yeah, major two Asian powers and world power. Then only a real danger to China is itself. That there are 1.4 billion reasons why China may succeed, and equally how the chapter concludes then by the author, there are 1.4 billion reasons why it may not surpass America as the greatest power in the world. So the real threat to China is China itself, considering the overall geopolitical, geographical limitations and potentials, and the capacity of the Chinese people to, you know, acquire all those skills. Considering that, the real threat to China is China itself, having 1.4 billion reasons to achieve it, and 1.4 billion reasons to, you know, face the failure. So I hope this discussion, right, for Russia, for China, and for the overall that book, and further in the future you will find कुछ और मतलब इतने सारे टॉपिक्स के वीडियोस बनने ही हैं. यूनाइटेड स्टेट्स है, अफ्रीका है, वेस्टर्न यूरोप है, इंडिया, पाकिस्तान, सारे. सो आई विल बी, you know, having those videos again. So I think you guys are enjoying this discussion, you must and not only enjoying, you must be having some better clarity about the geopolitical aspect. So this is all about for this particular video, guys. If you really liked it, if you really find it interesting and useful, so don't forget to comment and share it with your near and dear one. Also please subscribe to our channel Geo for Geography. Thank you and have a good time.